Hey everybody, this is Miss Florida Hot Picks here. Are you guys wondering where are the hottest numbers on your grids? Well, I want to share with you some places that you're going to want to pay attention to lock in some of the hottest hits, okay? Now, I will tell you, I have to put a disclaimer. I can never guarantee hits on the channel or in the membership, so I want you guys to make sure that you practice on paper first and make sure that you understand what's going on in your state. Backtrack, okay, is key to unlocking hidden patterns. Okay, we're going to start working in Pick 3 Texas. You guys are something else out there. 4 draws per day. Wow. And I get lots of questions asking, Miss Florida, what is the best workout? Well, through time and through a lot of practice, I found this one particular strategy to be pretty hot for Texas. So make sure you grab your notes and let's get ready to dive in. So Pick 3 Texas on March 8th nighttime game, there was a hit of 226. You notice here we're putting it in what we call a 317 rundown. I like using rundowns because it helps me to decipher patterns. Okay, I use this with a lot of states. Sometimes it's a 1, 2, 3 rundown. In this particular case, I'm going to share with you the 317. Okay, so what I like to do is the first thing you have to do is put the grid together. I need to see all these numbers, and then I'm going to train my eye, and I want you to train your eyes to lock into certain areas of the rundown so you can start pointing out some of the hottest numbers. Okay, so let's figure out how do we put one together. We're going to lock in that last hit of 226. Then the next thing we must do is we have to add each number down the columns. So for the first column, we're going to add 3 all the way down. So 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. Now when we get to our 2-digit numbers, only use your ones place, your 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 plus 3 is 10. Use your 0. 0 plus 3 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus 3 is 12. Use your 2. Okay? So the number you start with will be the number you end with. Then you would add 1 all the way down that second column, 7 all the way down the third column. Now once you pick 3 players, just start paying attention to areas of your rundown. And the areas I'm referring to is how I put a lot of my prediction lists together, how I'm averaging between, 150 to 250 hits off those prediction lists per week. So I want you guys to really start paying attention to your triples and false triples, okay? They could be telling you your state has some particular patterns. So I want you to pay close attention to what I'm about to show you. And some of you have already seen this, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper so you really get the understanding of it. So what I want you to do is I want you to pay attention to what you call key digit numbers. Okay? Key digit numbers can mean a lot of things. But for me, when I see key digit numbers, they're special numbers telling me that there's a certain pattern that I need to look out for a particular state, or there's certain numbers that could be coming. And depending on your state, it's going to depend on how these particular numbers can be used. Some states use the key digits 2s and 7s, and some states use other numbers. Okay, so we have key digits 2 and 7. I want you to pay attention when they're together. They could be in the form of a double 2-2 or 7-7. They could be mirrors 2-7 or 7-2. When they're together, especially on the left side, Texas, that's your cue to pay close attention to them, okay? So are the key digit pairs? We're putting them in pairs because when you see them together, they're sparking on this particular hot pattern, okay? So I'm going to highlight the 2-2. I'm going to highlight the 7-7, okay? And most of the 2-2 here. Why? Because I need to see what's going on top and the bottom. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is I want you to pay attention to false triples or triple numbers. Okay. Let's talk about that. Mirror numbers are very important here. Some people say that mirror numbers aren't real, you shouldn't be using them. I beg to differ. I think they're very important and they're very necessary. And hopefully, once you're done with this video, you'll see exactly why I'm saying that. Mirror numbers are the same number, they're just opposite of themselves. So when we're talking about mirror numbers, we're saying, like for instance, the number 0 could be a 5 or 5 could be a 0, okay? 1 could be a 6 or 6 could be a 1. 2 could be a 7 or 7 could be a 2. 3 could be an 8, 8 could be a 3. 4 could be a 9, and a 9 could be a 4. Now, once you see your key digits, it's important because you're not going to see these key digits all the time, okay? You may not even see them every day. So when you see them, you have to treat them very carefully, all right? There is a false trip here, 161. I'm going to highlight that. And it's mirror 616, okay? I want you to pay close attention to these areas. The first thing was your key digit number. That's telling me for Texas there was a particular pattern that we need to pay attention to. The next thing I'm looking for is slanted triples or false triples. We just went over mirror numbers. You know, when we say triple numbers, we're thinking about the numbers, triple numbers like 111 or 666, right? Sometimes we have what we call false trips, like this 161 and this 616. So sometimes you'll be looking for triples, or if they have their mirrors attached, okay, you'll have false triples. They could change depending on how the numbers are. So I want you to make sure you keep your eye open for both. If you don't, you'll miss these steps. The next thing I want you to do is pay attention to the numbers that are slanted. Here we have the numbers 854. We also have 309 on top. Now on the bottom, there's numbers there as well. We have 478, okay? And if we go down one more notch, and we extend it, we also have 923. The most important numbers that I want you to pay attention, and you'll know because sometimes they'll be on top or the bottom, is you're looking for the numbers that mirror back straight across. Did you hear me? You have to look at the pairs or the combinations. 854 could be mirrored 840. Please remember your mirrors. This is why this is important. 478 doesn't mirror back straight across. These are the things that I use for putting together my prediction list, and these are the areas that I concentrate the most on. So I hope that you guys will start taking what I'm saying more seriously so that you can start finding out some of these easier hits. Again, won't guarantee what will happen, but you still have to work and study, pay attention. When you see this, I want you to write down some possible combinations, okay? So 854, but also 840. Then you're going to go to your mirrors. Notice halfway down the rundown, they're all just mirror numbers. We started with 226, but then we mirrored 771. Everything is mirrored. So that 854 became a 309. And then if we run it across, it becomes a 395. Okay? So I want you to pay attention to these numbers right here. Okay? Pay attention to those numbers right there. Well, what actually hit on March 11th, okay, was 593. I know it took a couple days, but I want to share with you something very special that people miss, and that's called a date indicator, telling you when possibly to play these numbers. So let's go over and find where the hit was. 593, let's look in our box. We have it as 395, okay? Where do you see it? It was right here. Now, if you run it across the other way, you get 593. This is one secret that I use when putting my predictions together, because sometimes this allows hits to come straight, You're either reading your numbers left to right or right to left. But that trick doesn't always work, so you have to be careful with that, okay? So going on, 593 was right here. Remember, it was attached to the slanted and it came back across. Those are some of the hottest areas for Texas. I got this strategy from the states, Texas and Georgia, and this is how I came up with the triple system and what I use for the last few years for my prediction list for pick 3. So when I tell you I've been studying this for quite a while, I want you to pay attention as well. It's not a perfect system. You won't see this every day. And you're going to see triples and false triples. But one thing I want you to pay attention is when you see your key digits, that can flag you, telling you that these are the most hottest ones, okay? Let's talk about one more important factor. When did these play? These hit 3 days later, okay? Now, with Texas having 4 draws per day, playing those numbers for every draw could be a little costly. We have to be careful with that, right? One indicator, and it doesn't always happen like this, pay attention to your date number. I know a lot of people like to use date sums, but sometimes date numbers are just as important. The date number for March 11th, we're using the ones place, okay? Notice how our indicators, 161, are ones. Ones are 6. That was the indicator telling us pay close attention on this particular date, okay? I know a lot of people like to use date sums, and it could work too. They may interchange that, Texas, but I want you to keep your eye, okay? I have one more to show you. Oh yeah. Y'all like it so far? Go ahead and hit that like button. I so appreciate you guys. Now watch this. Let's do this again. I want to make sure you understand. Pay attention, okay? The first thing we're going to talk about is what? Key digits. I see this 27 and the 72. So remember our key digits. They could be doubles, 22, 77, 27, or 72, okay? And I'm looking for them on the left side. I'm not saying they won't work on the right side. That could be another pattern. You'll have to do research on your own for that. All right, let's look at the 72 and 27. Now, if it has a false trip, pay attention to this. If it doesn't have a false trip, it could be a whole nother pattern. So make sure you're paying attention to that, okay? So let's go ahead and highlight our false trips. Notice this time is downward. They can change. And the numbers are different. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and extend the rundown because I need to see what's going on here. 3, 4, 2. Okay. And I want you guys to pay close attention. You're gonna look at both slants. 576, does it come across? No. 190, 104. This is your hottest areas. Okay, so I'm gonna write those down. You can write it 190, 104. You can write it, I still need to get it forward. That's okay. 6, 5, 9. There we go. Sorry about that. 6, 4, 5 and 6, 5, 9. If you don't know mirrors, you'll miss this. This is why I said this stuff is so important. Okay, so let's say you held on to those numbers for a few days. Okay, well, on March 13th, the same day actually, the night game was 109. Came a little quick in the same day. Where are they? 109. Okay, so pay attention. Here was the date number indicator. These are 8s and 3s. Your date number was 3. Yeah, I know. Start studying. Y'all stop playing with me. It was Florida ain't for play. And I'm not saying this happens perfectly all the time, but I want you guys to start paying attention to what's going on in these grids. Sometimes numbers are right in front of us, but we just don't get it. I like following triples. I know people thought that it was a waste of time. This stuff keeps coming up. It's just what it is. So if you ask me what my favorite for text is, I would pay attention to triples, pay attention to your key digits. That can really help you guys out. Okay? Well, with that said, I hope this was fun. Make sure you hit that like button for me, subscribe, and join that membership for deeper study, okay, and all of our prediction pick 3 lists, okay? We'll see you on the next video.